Hi children, welcome. Last class we have seen that Rutherford's model and the drawback of Rutherford's model. So, in order to explain that drawback of Rutherford's model, another scientist that is Niels Bohr suggested another model. That model is actually known as Bohr's model of atom. So, Bohr suggested another model for explaining that drawbacks of Rutherford's model. Now, we can see what is that postulate, what are the postulates of that Bohr's model of the atom. We can see some postulates, he put forward some postulates for explaining that explaining the drawback of Rutherford. So, that model is known as Bohr model of atom. Now, we can see one by one the postulates of Bohr model of the atom. So, if you are seeing, we have seen that in Rutherford's model, electrons are revolving around the nucleus through fixed circular path. Okay, so we can say here also only certain special orbits are allowed for this electrons. Only through that orbits electron can revolve. No other way they can revolve the nucleus, only through fixed orbits. So, electrons can revolve the nucleus through fixed circular paths. Only through the circular paths the electron can revolve the nucleus. The electrons cannot move as here and there, through there, here and there. It cannot revolve through the nucleus. Through that, it is electrons are allowed to revolve the nucleus through the fixed path only. Okay, and the second postulate that states that while revolving through a fixed orbit, the energy will be constant. Electrons will not radiate any energy if they are revolving the nucleus through a fixed circular orbit. So, while revolving in discrete orbits, these energy orbits are individual orbits. There is no continuity between the orbits. One is there, then after some space only the other orbits we can observe. So, while revolving in this discrete, that is why we are using the term discrete. In this discrete energy levels, if electrons are revolving through this discrete orbits, while revolving in the discrete orbits, electrons will not radiate any energy while will not radiate energy. While revolving in discrete orbits, there is no change for the energy of the electron. They will have a fixed amount of energy that will be same while revolving around the nucleus through the fixed path. Then when that energy will change, when do that change in energy occur? That is, when these electrons are moving, we have seen inside the atom, suppose this is the nucleus, positive nucleus is there, and in that positive nucleus around that through circular fixed path the electrons are revolving. While revolving in the circular path, they will not radiate energy. But when they radiate energy, suppose the first electron is there, one electron is here, and if it is jumping from the smaller energy level to the higher energy level, from energy, suppose this is energy level 1 and this is energy level 2. So, one electron is jumping from E1 to E2. first level to second level, that time energy change will happen there. It will absorb energy during that time, because energy for the inner orbits will be very small, but when we move out, energies, if we are going to the outer orbit, energy will be more. So, fixed orbit will have a fixed energy, and that energy will be increasing when we move out, like so. If we are going out, so the energy of that fixed orbits will be increasing. They keep on increasing. So, if from the inner orbit, if an electron is jumping to the higher energy level, the absorption of energy will be there. And suppose the electron is there in the higher energy level. Now it is present in E2 and it is jumping from E2 to E1. If it is jumping from E2 to E1, at that time it will radiate energy. So, radiation of energy and absorption of energy will be there, but that is only when the electrons are changing their orbits. When they are residing there in a particular energy level, there won't be any change. So, when the electron is revolving through a discrete orbit, no change in the energy, but when the electrons are jumping from a lower energy to higher energy level, change in energy will happen, and from higher energy to lower energy level, that time also change in energy will happen, and jumping from higher to lower, that time energy will be radiated. Okay, so change in energy will be observed only that time. And these electrons are revolving in fixed discrete orbits, and that orbits we can call them as, so many names are there for this orbits. We can call that orbits as shell. Another name is shell. For the orbits, the second name is shell. We can call them as shell, or we can call them as energy levels. Energy levels. And one by one, if we are calling them as E1, E2, E1, E2, E3, etc. Like so we will be calling it E1, E2, E3, like so we can call it. And when we consider different energy levels there, we can say that E1 has lesser energy, E2 has more energy, then E3 has again more energy, like so that when we go more out of the atom, energy will be increasing. And these energy levels are also known as, they are also named as K. E1 is named as K shell, and E2 is L shell, and E3 is M shell, and E4 is N shell. Okay, and for this K shell, we are considering it as N is equal to 1. For that L shell, N is equal to 2. For that M, N is equal to 3. Like so, it will be differing. Okay. So, there are different discrete energy levels in which electrons are seen there. If they are being into a particular energy level, there won't be any change in energy. But if they are jumping from lower to higher or higher to lower, that time energy change will happen, that time only. And the electrons are there revolving around the nucleus through only this discrete orbits. Through this path only they will be revolving. Okay, so these are the postulates of Niels Bohr model, and now also we are following with this Niels Bohr model, because this model is a very good model for explaining the structure of the atom. Okay, and after this Niels Bohr suggested this particular model in 1932. In 1932, James Chadwick, 1932, James Chadwick discovered the neutrons there. So, initially inside the atom, Two particles were the positively charged protons and negatively charged electrons, and protons have some mass there and electrons have negligible mass there. And after that discovery or suggestion or proposed after this Bohr proposed this Bohr model of the atom, James Chadwick discovered that neutrons are also present there in the atom. Neutrons is also another subatomic particle. Subatomic particle means smaller particles which are seen inside the atom. So, another subatomic particle he discovered there inside the atom, and he named that particles as neutrons. And neutrons are neutral. They don't have any charge. They are neither positive nor negative. They have neutral. They are neutral. They don't have any charge there, and they have mass. So, another particle, subatomic particles were discovered by James Chadwick, and he called them as neutrons. Neutrons are neutral and they have mass. So, now we can conclude that inside the atom there are three subatomic particles. Electrons are negatively charged subatomic particles seen inside the atom with a very small mass or negligible mass. Protons are positively charged particles with some mass which is seen inside the atom, and neutrons are also present there inside the atom, but they don't have any charge there, but they have mass. So, we can say that these are the three subatomic particles seen inside the atom, and later it was proved that inside the atom nucleus, Rutherford has suggested that inside the atom nucleus is there. So, from that later experiments it was proved that inside the nucleus this proton and neutrons are present. Proton and neutron are present there inside the nucleus, and electrons are revolving the nucleus through discrete orbits. That was the model, and the same model was explained by this postulates of Niels Bohr. Okay. So, at that time we can say that subatomic particles present inside the atom are all the three, but that two particles are seen there inside the nucleus. So, we can say that nucleons are the positively charged protons and neutral neutrons. These are seen inside the nucleus. So, we can say that they are the nucleons. Electrons are seen outside the nucleus. Okay. Now, we can compare some properties of all the three subatomic particles. We can compare the particles considering their mass, charge and all. We can see these particles. Okay. Now, we can see this particle. Electron, first particle we are seeing is electron. The first particle is electron, and we can say that electrons have a mass. First it is charged. The electron have a charge of minus 1.602 into 10 raised to 19 coulomb, and for calculation, easy calculation, we are considering that as minus 1. The charge we are considering it as the minus 1. And its mass actually is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. But we are comparing it with the mass of proton. So, we are considering that as 1 by 1836 U. And that representation symbol for the electron has mass 0. That is why we are putting 0 here, mass 0 and charge is minus 1. And where it is located? It is located outside the nucleus. Outside nucleus we can see the electrons. And who discovered that electrons? J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson discovered electrons. Now, if we consider second subatomic particle proton, again same charge, equal and opposite charges are there. We know that the atom is electrically neutral. So, that positive 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and for easy calculation we are taking that as positive 1. And again here mass is 1.63. So, majority of mass of the atom is because of the mass of the neutrons. Mass of the proton and neutron, because both of them have the same mass there. Okay, electron will have very small mass there, but majority mass is because mass of the nucleus or mass of the atom is because of the presence of this protons and neutrons inside the nucleus. And this is as 1.63 into 10 raised to minus 27. For easy calculation we are taking it as 1U, and also for neutron we are taking it as again 1U. For total mass will be sum of proton plus sum of neutron. And the representation for proton is, proton have mass 1 and the charge is positive 1, and it is seen inside the nucleus. Inside the nucleus we can see this proton. And who discovered this proton? Yes, it is E. Goldstein. E. Goldstein discovered the protons. Okay, then we can see the last subatomic particle, neutron, charges 0, that is neutral. It is neutral, no charge. Okay, and then mass we have for easy calculation we are taking it as 1U, and the neutron there is 1 unit mass and the charge is 0. That is why we are denoting like this, and that is also seen inside the nucleus, and this is discovered by James Chadwick. It is discovered by James Chadwick. So, these are the comparison of the subatomic particles present inside the atom. Hope this much is clear to you. Thank you.